What's up YouTube? My name's Quickie, welcome back to the channel. This, I'm hoping, is going to be the last video on fixing up Brian. Got everything I need, so I'm hoping combination of today, tomorrow, because I'm only in here for a couple of hours today, but then tomorrow I've got a day off. So he's getting done, he's getting finished. Basically, there's only really, well, say really only two jobs. First one is I needed to line the motor up with the drive shaft for Brian. So what I've had to do is to slot the mounting holes for this plate. So they've been slotted top to bottom because the slots on the motor goes front to back. So a combination of the two of those should be able to get it lined up. I've just had a DTI stuck on the shaft, and I've finally got the height of this plate in exactly the right place. Basically, I shoved the DTI on the shaft and swept the other shaft, and I could get it within 2 thou. I can't get it any closer than that because, like, boss it with a dead blow hammer, you know, a mallet, and I'm moving it more. So, you know, 2 thou is about as good as I'm going to get. It's all got to come off because I've got to wire the motor back up again, and I've got to stick my coupling back on. But at least I know it's right top to bottom, and it's just the front to back that I need to sort out, basically. The only other job I've got to do is the DRO scales. Get the DRO installed on it so I can, you know, get accurate about stuff, basically. Last one turned up yesterday. I've only unboxed one and had a quick squint at it, so I'm hoping all the rest of them is there. Otherwise, we're buggered. But let me get this off, install that lot, and then we can crack on with the DRO. Breaker is on. Oh, I just need to give it a go then, really, don't we? I haven't got a cover for the motor. I do need to make one. That's going to be one of the early projects. This is only cable tied up here at the minute. It will have a cable gland on it. So it'll all route through properly and everything else. This is just temporary. I think we're good to go. Right. And there ain't any oil peeing out of it anywhere. Right, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through and just check all the speeds and everything else, just to make sure there's no clunking and all that sort of malarkey. And then I'm also just going to run it. I'm going to run it for, like, I don't know, 20-30 minutes. Make sure, you know, oil's getting everywhere it needs to get. The oil's not coming out of it anywhere. and that's it. I'll probably go around and give everything just another squirt of oil, you know, all the little nipples and all that sort of stuff. I know it's swimming, but more ain't gonna hurt, is it? Today is a good day. Right, so where are we? So that was 235. That should be 485. Which is cool. That's 530. This is 740. This is 1080. Just noticed a little drip of oil there. A little drip I don't really care about. And this is 1500. Hang on, what am I doing? Do that one? Right, 1500. Get in. Right. So the X travel with the prop shaft going, that is to the left. Pull this out, it should go to the right. Which it does. Ow. Bloody swarf everywhere. Right, feeds. So that should be 143. Which it works. It's all working. We do have a tiny bit of an oil leak up there. And it's coming out between the tooling and it, so it's not even on that seam. That's why they would have packed it with grease. Right, I'm just going to run it and we'll see what happens, eh?
Thank you.
Brian has been going for about 20 minutes now. Everything's fine. I do have a tiny little dribble of oil coming out of here. It's just like a drip every, I don't know, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. And it's only when it's running. So I'm happy with that. The motor's not getting hot at all. Which is, yeah, it's warm. It's not hot or anything though. So that's cool. No oil's peeing out the sides of it or anything else. Constant feed of oil up to the sight glass. There's no nasty noises. Oh, I've got a mill. Right, let's have all this lot off. And I'm going to set the DRO up. Right then. 3 lots of DRO scales. Sweet. They are a little bit different. Why are they a little bit different? I don't know. That one's got a different cover. Be alright. Basically, these go down to 5 micron. So, if you don't know what a DRO scale is, digital readout, basically it's like the little display thing that I've got hanging up on the wall there. But essentially, one part is fixed to the machine, that bit, and this bit moves up and down a scale. So from that you can basically tell relative positions. So if there's loads of, you know, backlash in the lead screws and all that other kind of stuff, you don't give a monkeys because it doesn't matter, because this is actually measuring where the tooling is in essence. And with the little display you can do all sorts of funky things, like, you know, we can change from, you know, metric to imperial. You can pick a point, pick another point, half it. You can do, I don't know, bolt patterns, all sorts of stuff. They really, really are good. When I stuck one of these on the little mini mill that I had, it was so much easier to come down on size rather than mucking about trying to manage backlash and everything else. So what I want to do is to figure out some sort of basic placement of this stuff, and then we kind of go from there really. I am going to be drilling holes in my machine, but it's got a few anyway, so a couple more ain't going to hurt, is it? Alright, let's so I'll just have the covers out and I can offer them up and see where best it's all going to go. Oh, hello. Right, this is quite funny. The stupid little bracket that they provide, it's a very nice looking bracket, but ain't going to do the do. As is often the case with sticking DROs on, you need to make your own mounting brackets. So that's what I'm going to have to do. And funnily enough, I'm going to need to use the mill to make it. I've got to use the tool to fix the tool. How cool is that? I've got some bits of alley. They are MacLeods, they're going to need cleaning up, but that'd be a good field test for Brian, wouldn't it? Right, I suppose step one is going to be to get my vice set up properly, isn't it? Right, these parallels, of, mind you, it's such a ropey bit of alley. These parallels can come out. You can get it down tight, but then as you tighten the vice, they do just want to come out. They shift. So I think all I'm going to do to start off with is just get one flat surface that I can stick up against the fixed jaw, and then we go from there. Which isn't ideal, I know it's not, but... Right, so... First time this is... Well, this has basically not been used since the year 2000. It's an 80-year-old machine. And these are the first chips it's going to make. Right, you're about to touch off. About in the middle-ish. That'll do. Right. It's good. The end mill is knackered though. I knew that already. I just wanted to put a 20mm big one in and see what happened. But it works and it tracks lovely. There is a fair amount of oil coming out this head. Where the spindle that Brett remachined, where that goes up and into it, obviously there's a bearing that sits in the bottom of there that gets an oil feed. And you can see it is working its way through. It's going to be an oily machine to use. But it works, and it works well. The finish really ain't bad. If I had a better end mill in there, that would be epic. And there's absolutely, I did it in 2 passes, but there is absolutely no step in it. You don't have to worry about tramming this in and getting the head exactly where it needs to be because the whole thing's cast, but there is absolutely no step in it. How good is that? Right. I do need to swap out my bit because that one's knackered. I need to get some more. To be fair, oiling this machine is not going to be an issue. It's definitely coming out around the spindle. But at the end of the day, you know, it's 80 years old. Most things that are 80 years old leak. I mean, Doddy's 85, he probably leaks loads. Bugger. That's the last of my 3.3mm drill bits, which I need for an M4 thread. Bloody hell. Right. These are just high-speed steel drill bits. They're not the best. What I really need is some cobalt drill bits, and I ain't got any. That's what you need for drilling cast iron, because they're hard. Right, I need to get some of them sorted then, but I will show you what I've done. Right, so around the back here, don't know if you can see, just machined up this block. It is all absolutely dead nuts cock on. This is an oil way. Basically, you pump oil in through the nipples here, and it basically feeds the bottom of the bed. This is a central union, so it goes into another aperture on the back side of it. So I've had all this lot off, drilled it so I can mount it here with some M4s which are sunk in, and then the sensor on the scale is going to sit on top of here and it'll bolt into these 2 screw threads there. The white mark there is where the main scale is going to live. But I can't drill into it because I keep breaking my drill bits. Right, that's my day off buggered. I had all these plans of getting the DRO sorted and installed and having a play on it properly and everything else. I'm just going to have to wait for it now. I've ordered some drill bits. They are on their way. I've ordered a few because I know I'm going to break another one. You just have to wait for the video, basically. I'm not releasing a video just for the sake of doing a video. You know, I want it to have content that actually means something. So, when the drill bits come, we'll be back. I'm back. Cobalt drills. These are brilliant, these are. I've used these in the past, but basically they're ideal just for going through really hard stuff. You know, like stainless steel and, you know, cast iron, all that sort of stuff. The bed on this is hard. You draw a file over it, it don't mark it at all. So it's all been hardened and stuff. But the actual casting, you know, the cast iron, the body of it, that's quite tough stuff. These get through it. Now, I've got a couple of sets of high-speed steel drill bits. And basically, as they wear out, I'm just going to replace them with a cobalt drill and just build the sets up that way. That way I can sort of spread the cost of them, and I'll get some drill bits that will go through hard stuff and they will last. So anyway, I'm making another mess, as you can see, but I have got the first scale installed, and I'm just getting set to shove the DRO on and check it. Let me show you what I've been doing. All right, I'm hoping you can see all this. There's my DRO scale. Cables come out the other end, and this little sensor here, that's the pickup for it, so it's mounted on that. I don't know if you can see. It's mounted underneath on that little block that I machined up. Dust cover's all installed, so no grot and grime or anything else is going to get in there. And when you wind it all back, this lock stop on here basically stops it from going all the way back and hitting the machine. So at some point, I'm guessing it had a DRO installed, because all that is set up in exactly the right place. So anyway, that's the first one that's gone on. I've just got the other two to stick on, but I want to check this one is okay, which means shoving the DRO on, which is this bit, the display. So got a couple of options. Let me show you. I could, and you know, it's got to go kind of at this sort of height. I could stick it on this bit here, sort of just in front of that sort of maker's plate or whatever, but it will sort of bring it right out to the front. Plus I'm right-handed, not left-handed, so ideally I want it on this side. And the only place I can really stick it is sort of here. I'll shove the mounting in there, so the whole thing will just kind of come out the side like that. And it's kind of right where I need it to be. All the cables can get tidied away, not too fussed about that, but I think that's where it's going to go. Yes, that all works. Did have a couple of people going, what's a DRO? I don't get it. Why do you need one? Well, it's a fair enough question. I'm not going to go into all the details of it. There's loads of way better explanations than I'll ever give. If I lock the table off, so basically it can't move that way or that way. If I move the hand dial, there is a bit of movement here, right, as you can see. However, the table actually isn't moving at all. So this is basically just wear and tear in the lead screw and the nut that it goes through. Basically, people call it backlash. You hear people say managing backlash and everything else, and that basically means that you always have to turn the screw in the same direction if you're going to read off the vernier. Whereas with the DRO, because you've got those scales on there, it doesn't really care if there's wear and tear in the lead screw, because that's just taking up the backlash, because it only starts to change when that little sensor moves along the scale. So you can tell the exact position of your table, and you don't need to worry about the vernier scales anymore. But that all works a treat. Happy days. Right, 2 more to install, and then I've got to route all these cables. That is the worst explanation of what a DRO is. Right, there was a fair bit of run out in a bit. Basically, I'm using Brian to make myself another bracket to put the Z travel on. The Z scale. Thing is, there's a fair bit of run out in the tooling bit, in the end mill. So I've had all the top off it again just to check my bearings. And there was a fair amount of, still dribbles and stuff coming out of the oil. But I just wanted to check the bearings and make sure it was all nipped up and, as it should be. Because I've been running the machine for a little bit now. And I just figured that everything's going to bed in and find its own home and all that sort of stuff. And sure enough, they was loose. So I've nipped them up again. to sort of where they was before. There is no play or wiggle room, but obviously that's just me trying to move it. It all runs quite happily, so we shove the end mill back in and give it another go. So I'm not sure if the run out was because I hadn't adjusted the bearings properly. Come on, go in, there we go. Or if the machining that Brett did on the taper, there is a tiny little mark in the taper that I can see. Maybe the taper's off or something, I don't really know. But wherever I can try and get rid of it, that's what I'm going to try and do. And I need to make a tool for doing this, because I don't like grabbing hold of just that little bit of what's it sticking out, just to tighten the drawbar up. So I do need to make a proper tool for that. There we go. And they're adjustables as well. But easy enough. It's just a bit of metal that goes around and locates on them. So happy days. Right, let's give this another bash and see how we go. I'm loving this. I am loving this. And bear in mind the end mill that I'm using is junk. I don't know, can you see that? It is lovely. It is absolutely dead smooth as well. You can see the lines where the end mill's gone up and down. There is no ridge or anything. Absolutely nothing. That milling bit is junk. It is well used, it is well worn, it is getting replaced. I have got some others coming, but that does the job. Tightening the bearings up as well has stopped an awful lot of oil leaking out of it. I still get the odd drip, which, I'm all right with that, but it does have an impact. So I think I'm going to run it for a bit longer, and then I'm going to have the top off and we'll see if it needs to be adjusted and stuff again, because it did make a difference. There is no run out in the bit at all. It tracks absolutely lovely. There's no wobbles. A good test to be drilling, because obviously drills like to wander, and if there is any play in it, it's just going to exacerbate it. But we're well on the way. Right, let's turn that off, because we don't really need to yet. Let's see if we can get this one put on. Right then, 2 down, 1 to go, and this is going to be the bloody awkward one. Right then, last one. Not about to use that at all. Scale has got to go on this side because of all the gubbins on the other side. I've got 2 thumping great rivets that are just in the wrong place. Of course they would be. And this is the scale. So ordinarily it would mount, I don't know, something like that. Covered up by a cover so you can't get to anything. But that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work at all. The linear scale itself has got to be mounted to the bed, so I'm gonna have to run it upside down. and back to front, I think, just to keep all the schmutz out of the scale. Because if I can't run a cover, I need to protect it as much as I can. So I'm thinking that's going to have to go on there. We'll space it off a bit to clear those rivets, and that's the bracket they give you. Well, that's just pointless, isn't it? So I can't use that. I'm going to have to make something. This whole bed moves forwards and backwards on this flat here. So I can take a reference on there. These holes are slotted, so I can drill them, I can cock it this way and that way, and get it absolutely dead nuts in line there. I can put an indicator on the carriage, and I can indicate on this face as well, just to make sure it's level that way and that way. Because that way, when I move it in 10mm on the DRO, it's actually moving 10mm. Because if it's off either way, of course it won't do. And then I need to mount something that's going to hook that bit to this bit, and I'm thinking of coming off that boss for, you know, the nut for the lead screw. I'll just have to make something up. It's got 2 fixing points there. Ideally I want 2 fixing points here. And that's, I think, the only way I'm going to be able to do it. Right, okay. Where's my Sharpie? Sharpie! I'm getting short on Sharpies again. Right, he is dead nuts in line. Dead nuts in line. It's parallel to this surface up here. Good as I can get it anyway. This goes down to 2 decimal places per degree, so that's all right. As far as it being out this way, I've got it spaced off. There is about 1 mil clearance with that rivety jobby, and they do supply a load of these little shims like that. So what I'll end up doing is sticking a DTI on here, and I'll indicate on the back face of this, and if I need to move it in and out, I'll need to move it in and out. Thing is, it is going to take ages, and I need to spend the whole day just cocking about with this and mucking about with the gibs and indicating on all my linear scales and all that sort of stuff, just to get it absolutely as good as I can get it. It will happen. You probably won't see it because it'll be boring. But it is going to happen. Right, so that's the first bit. So now I need to hook that bit to that bit. Right, let's have a think. Right, so 36.5 degrees. This is actually hot rolled steel, which means it's going to be a little bit tougher. Pretty much there, I think. I'll call that spot on. Right, let's try that. Right then. That's on. Ow. That's it. Well, where's the plug? See if you work. Oh. Where'd you go? That way around. That one, that one. Cool. Let's just zero everything. Does it work? Yes! So I've got Y, should have X, and Z. Ooh, that way. Hello. So my DROs work. How cool is that? done. Well, I mean, there's still a few bits and pieces I could do if I wanted to at some point. Like I could hook up a coolant thing and run my suds, all that sort of stuff. But for now, this will do for the stuff that I've got in mind. Oh, I missed a bit. Oh, where's my thing? I need my thing. That'll do. Right. This has been quite a journey, actually. Do you remember what the mill used to look like? Here's a picture of it. It did look a little bit sorry for itself and a bit neglected and a little bit tatty and, you know, all those other sort of things, but you could see the potential in it. When Doddy gifted it to me, I was like, it was all your Christmases at once. Literally all your Christmases at once. There's no way I could afford to buy a machine like this. So for him to give it to me, all right, it's a fixer-upper, but it was still an incredibly generous thing for him to do. And we've been chatting, we're like proper mates and stuff now. We're always chatting. Like I say, it's been interesting because there's no manuals for it. There isn't any workshop manuals because they didn't do manuals then. This was built for the war effort. Found a bit more history on it as well. This, I've been plaguing the MOD. I've been phoning them up and everything, emails. I don't know how true this bit is. They could have just said, oh, God, tell him anything. Just stop him calling. But apparently, through this contract number and the date plate and stuff and the serial number, this machine was built in February 1941 and it was given to a company called Parson, Brett and Sons Limited. I don't know if that's true or not, but apparently it used to make tanks. It used to make bits for tanks. See, I was hoping it was going to be Spitfires or something really cool like that, but tanks is good. Tanks blow stuff up. They're awesome. So that's what it used to make. I'm still grubbing about trying to find information, and I'll find out what I find out, sort of thing. What's that? But yeah, that's what it was. So that's all kind of cool. But with no manuals or anything else, we've taken it from that picture that you just seen to this. Everything has come apart on it. It's all been checked and set up and greased and lined up and blah, 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 refinished, painted, etc. And it is working, and it is working really, really good. Like, so good. It is so much easier using a big oofing machine like this than it was the crappy little mill. I call it crappy. It wasn't crappy. Well, it is compared to this, but it was a really good point to start learning because you have to take little cuts and worry about how you fixed your stuff, and you know, you could only work on little things and that. But it was a really good learning curve. So jumping from that to this, it's like night and day because I basically know what I'm doing with it. Basically, I mean, there's still a truckload to learn and everything, but it just, you know, suddenly it's like there are no funny noises, there are no vibrations, there is no chatter because it's solid. So you can just get going and you can make stuff an awful lot quicker as well. Doddy did say, well, when I went and saw him and picked it all up, it was like, you know, took him some stuff up and I asked him what his favourite tipper was. And he said, Old O'Barn. So I found him the oldest bottle that I could and I sent it up to him and he sent me some MacLoed. It does look a bit like a sample. I've got another one of these over there as well. I'm hoping it's not a sample. Oh, that's definitely not a sample. But what he said is once he sees it working and it's all commissioned, that's when he's going to open his bottle. So I hope you got it on the side there, Doddy, because I've just opened mine and I'm having a drink to it because it's done, it's finished, and you've seen it working. To get this was just awesome, and to have it going as good as it is, I'm well chuffed. There's been blood, sweat and beers gone into this, it really has been. But the opportunities it's going to give me to make stuff for Asbo and the other bikes and blah, 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 you know, I just couldn't do it with this. So, Doddy, cheers, mate. Thank you very, very, very much. God, that'll put hairs on your chest, won't it? I'll see why he likes it now. Everything is as it should be. Everything is running, apart from that bit of an oil leak. Look, we've still got a little bit of oil coming out here. But tweaking up the bearings and stuff, definitely slowed it down. So I think it's just seating the bearings to the bottom of the cup a bit better. Because it's still weeping, I think I need to run it for a bit and let everything bed down. Then I'll have the top off and I'll tweak it up again. But that should sort of, you know, slow it down a bit as well. So if you're knocking on in years, you know, about 80 years old, and you're leaking a bit, give your nuts a tweak. It helps no end. But really, now it's just a case of using it and getting used to it. There's going to be bits that need tweaking. Like I need to make a cover up here with a proper gland for it, and I will hook the suds up at some point. But you know, I just want to use it and get used to it, and you know, see what I can make with it basically. So first thing is going to be on Asbo. I'll start out just making axle plates for it, just so I can adjust the chain. That's an easy one. That won't take very long at all. So that's probably going to be the next thing that you'll see. Good old Brian doing his due and helping me out building Asbo. I've got loads of stuff I need to make for him. And, you know, the boys here, he's going to get the job done, I'm sure. So anyway, thank you ever so much for joining us. Hope you're staying well and safe. We will see you on the next one.